Greetings everybody in the Blacklight Retribution community for PlayStation 4. I wanted to make note of some things that people are maybe concerned with. There isn't a lot of discussion on a lot of the bigger BLR channels that people have. Nobody's really discussing what's happening with the update, where has it been, and when's it going to happen. And I'm going to hopefully shed some light on some things and make you guys aware of what's happening with Hedraun Labs. And with all that being said, let's just go ahead and jump right into what we know. What we know from what has happened recently is that there was supposed to be a November update for PC, which happened, and there was content that was locked and unlocked later at a later time. We got notice that there was going to be an update for PlayStation 4, and that was sort of around December time. Everybody was sort of waiting for it. It didn't happen. A lot of time passed. It became March, and before we knew it, there were promises that by end or by mid-March there would be an update for PlayStation 4. For whatever reason, this got delayed again. Now, from what I'm going to tell you right now is that basically Hedraun Labs has not set a date as far as when PlayStation 4 update is going to happen. But what they have told us is that it's going to happen as soon as they do the update, a second update, most likely a patch for PC. Now, unfortunately, they don't want to give a timeline for when the patch is going to come out for PS4 or for PC. So everybody is sort of in this kind of limbo right now. And that's pretty much what we know, is that they're very busy with another project. I mean, the game is very old, but at the same time, they are the ones that are in charge of the game development. Now, unfortunately, all we can do is wait. I would guesstimate that on just a guesstimation as far as how long they've been maybe working on this project and hinting at it, and just the way that this has progressed as far as what they've done for the PC version. I would guesstimate probably close to December for this update. Now keep in mind that the last update was done in 2016. I don't honestly know how many updates that Hedraun Labs has issued, but I would say that, just from their track record, I wouldn't anticipate this being... I don't think that they're going to do anything more than one more update after this. Now, of course, that's just my speculation. That was essentially what I wanted to address, was what the timeframes were and what's going to happen. That is essentially the end of the video. I'm going to go ahead and keep talking about what my impressions of Hedraun Labs are, what's going to happen, and basically pick up on that last part. Now, I don't think that they're going to do another update that's going to give us a lot of content anytime soon. From the looks of it, from the PC version, it looks like they have only done very minimal amounts of tinkering and glitch fixes and things like that. Now, you might say that they added content. Yeah, they added some camos, but when you have to remember, the camos, all they are is just print textures. There's nothing really that spectacular about it. The mapping's already there as far as how it surrounds the player and all that sort of thing. They just have to input a design, and that's basically it. The cat hats, obviously, they worked on those. They're very great design. There's a lot of people excited for those, but don't see anything as far as maps. If they do an update, I think that possibly in the next 2 years, it might happen. Now, a lot of you might be wondering why my assessment is this, that it would take them so long. I think a lot of people, it's just a lot of unfortunate coincidences that this game came on at around the time that the PlayStation 4 was released. I mean, it literally came in, I think, within the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or maybe possibly even a month, where it was put on the PlayStation 4. Now, what a lot of people need to remember is that the PlayStation 5 has been rumored to be in production, that it's got, there's all sorts of rumors about the AMD design that they want for the video processor and all that sort of thing. So keep in mind of this, that I don't want to say that the PlayStation 4 is a dying console, but I don't also want to give people the impression that Hedraun Labs would probably be giving up on it for any reason other than it's going to probably transition. I would say, in a guesstimation, probably in 2 years, we're going to see an E3 presentation of the PlayStation 5. The PlayStation 4 has had a good run. It's a great console. Everybody loves it. A lot of us can't believe that it's already sort of reached its pinnacle of how long it's sort of run its course. It was out. Most consoles, you have to remember, are pretty much outdated graphics as soon as they're released. Everything in there, there's already much greater processors, and I'm very much a console person, but that's just the reality of it. So as soon as they release a console, it's already downgraded in quality as far as what the graphics processor can do. So right now they're battling, I think right now, over how much effort do we put into Blacklight Retribution on PS4. And I think a lot of the consensus is that they're not going to. They're going to put minimal amounts into it because everybody has to understand that Heartsuit Labs is a developer, they do development for other companies. The last one, like I said, was BioShock. I think I had mentioned that earlier in another video. But there was they work on other projects, and I don't think that there's probably like maybe one or two developers that are working on production for this game, and I just don't. It's just not feasible. They don't give them full reign to go ahead and work on Blacklight Retribution all day long. It's just they do it in their free time and when they have a chance. So I think any realistic idea of, them putting a lot of effort into a game that's probably going to get phased out and it's free to play is not realistic unless they have, ideals to put it on the PlayStation 5 at some point. Now, I want to also, now that that's said too, those are just my impressions of what's happening, and the timing just is not right for what the console can do for the players, with having just sort of a 2 to 4 year lifespan left, as far as game developers putting their product on an old console like the PlayStation 4. They're obviously, if E3 comes out in 2 years, they would probably obviously start putting new games. There'll be a few games, kind of like what happened with PlayStation 3, that still were released on PS4. So I think the idea that they would put a lot of effort into, a game that's going to be phased out within probably about 2 to 3 years, it's just not feasible. I think that's kind of what's happening with Heartsuit Labs. They have to sort of pick and choose what they want to put their effort into. Now, that's not to say that they shouldn't be putting their best effort. And I don't like to hear a lot of people saying this where they give the excuse that, oh, it's free to play. I don't think that's any excuse. There's people that pay money into this game. And yes, there are a lot of free to play games. If it came down to that it is a free to play game and don't complain, then, I would say, well, if they're going to do like they did with, I think it was like Paragon, that game, they gave their money back to people. If they're going to do something like that, yeah, I have no right to complain. But people pay money into this game. A lot of other people don't want to pay, and that's fine too. There's no pressure that you have to pay. You pay by your time on the servers and, grinding to get the next amount of GP that you could whittle up. So I don't think that there's any kind of pressure to, you're not paying for the game. I think that there's just a lot of emphasis that you shouldn't complain. You should just be complacent. It's gonna die anyway, and I don't like that talk. I just think it's sort of it's kind of ignorant, honestly. I just really think that there's a lot of fans of this game and a lot of constructive criticism, and a lot of it just kind of gets not debunked, but it just sort of gets pushed to the side, like, stop complaining. And I don't think that that's even appropriate. If this is the kind of conversation that people are having, that you've had your fun time with Blacklight Retribution, those people need to realize that this game is brand new to some people. I mean, there are a lot of young kids that are playing this game because not all kids can play, pay for, I think it even went up to $60 for PlayStation Plus just to play games online. This is Blacklight Retribution is kind of like the Fortnite. It's a final frontier for, playing a game online for free. And there are a lot of kids that have PS4s that can't afford to pay for a PlayStation Plus subscription, and Blacklight Retribution, it's sort of their bread and butter, honestly. So that being said, I just would wish that people that want to defend Heartsuit Labs and want to defend no updates for 2 years can put their mind, put themselves in the person's shoes of they just discovered this game. It's not like you, where you started playing it about 5 years ago. These people, they're just finding out how awesome this game is, and they like it. They love it. They want to see it expand. I've seen people pay money for the I think it's the diamond supporter. That's a lot of money to put into just a title. There's a lot of people that have faith in what the product is. So just try to see it. If you're one of those people, just try to see it from everybody else's perspective and not just your own. These people stumbled upon this game a lot later than you. So I think it just would be honestly a fair chance to give them the idea that, okay, they are where you were when you found the game. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So now that I sort of addressed the people that defend the idea of others asking and stuff about Hardsuit Labs and about Blacklight Retribution and all that sort of thing, I'll move on to Hardsuit Labs. What I wanted to say about that is that I don't want to have people think that I'm one of those people that's against Hardsuit Labs. I don't like what they're doing, but I can admit that I appreciate what they have done for the community and what they've done for the game. I, for one, like the parity patch. I thought it was the best thing that happened to Blacklight Retribution. I don't feel that it's anything negative. I don't think that they should get any flack for anything that they did as far as parity patch is concerned. Secondly, I will say that I like all the maps. I don't have any map that I'm like, oh, I hate this map, except for the ones that they, I've played a lot of them and they kind of go into repetition with some of them. But beside that, I just want to say that I do appreciate what they do. Now, I don't understand some of their logic and some of their business sense, and I think that a lot of people can kind of agree with that. It doesn't make sense that they wouldn't do an update for 2 years and sort of just leave everybody to kind of wonder what's going to happen and be a little bit flimsy on their, not promises, but what they say. And I think just a lot of questions are raised when they make sort of just kind of bad decisions. Like I said, I appreciate all the stuff they did. One thing I will note is that there is costs associated with doing updates for games. It's just like when you see games like Minecraft, there's always updates going on for them, but they don't do those kinds of updates if they don't see that or feel that there's going to be a return of income coming in for those updates. So I understand that they don't want to sort of rush into anything if they don't have any content to provide, but in the sense that they are doing this update now. So the question, it begs to question, what kind of content are they going to provide? They're going to do all these patch stuff. Why would it make sense to pay for an update if that's what the premise is that you have to pay per update? Sony or whatever be the case. Why would you pay for an update to do glitch fixes and to see no money in return for that? You're not providing anything but the cat hats and the camos and stuff. I mean, there's no gun tags, there's no, I guess like you say, other avatars, those hero avatars, nothing that people can buy so that the company can see a return. It just, the practices just doesn't jive. It just doesn't make any sense. And I guess that's just one of the things I'll just end the video right there as far as what I was going to say about Hardsuit Labs. Maybe I'll do another video on Hardsuit Labs when I get more opportunities to. I will address some last minor things. That's pretty much the end of the video as far as what I was going to say about Hardsuit Labs and my opinions on certain things. What we know right now as far as some of the stuff on Discord, I will address some things that people maybe were curious about. One of the questions that comes up a lot, people are wondering, is Siege coming back? Now, if you guys don't know what Siege is, I'll try to include a video in the description below so you can see what Siege was. And it is a mode like any of the other kinds of capture the flag type of thing, where I think it's I never actually played it, but it's one of those modes where you could fight against one of those armored tanks with the team, and one team's defending and one team's trying to take down the tank and stuff and slowing it down, and that's pretty much the objective. They have announced that there's no intention of ever bringing Siege back for PC or PS4, so that's that. And then one of the other questions that people were asking was, are they going to bring Lotto Boxes back? And just from one of the screenshots that I captured, I think it was just on my phone or whatever, but one of the developers had mentioned that yes, they were considering bringing Lotto Boxes back. And if you guys don't know what Lotto Boxes are, there's plenty of videos. I'll link that in the description below as well, where you can see some people buying items. And it's basically a lottery, like it says. You spend Z-Coin on a certain amount, and usually it's like it depends on what the amount is and what it's for. But they are usually for armor pieces, helmets, and they're usually very rare. So if they do bring that back, I would recommend, if you want to have items that are super rare, they don't ever bring items. They don't ever return with items. So it begs the question, if they're not wanting to provide content for the game, and they're not, there's no updates as far as the cat hats. It begs the question, what are they going to put in the Lotto boxes? They don't like to bring old items back, as many people have seen. So what's going to be in the Lotto boxes? Not a lot of people know. So we'll see what happens with that. And that just about wraps it up. If you guys can leave your comments down below, don't be afraid to just comment whatever you feel is appropriate for I guess the weight and what's going on with what's happening with Hardsuit Labs. Just leave your comments below. Maybe we could all start a discussion and just get an idea of how everybody feels right now as far as the community and what we are doing as a community for this game. Thanks for watching.